it's all working. Welcome to tonight's guided meditation with me. I'm Michael Taft, and we're going to sit for an hour. And during that hour, I'll guide you through some meditative weirdness. You are welcome to follow along with the meditative weirdness or not, or just do your own meditation. That's fine too. But it will be an hour, and I ask that you remain relatively still and quiet during the sit. Other than that, after we're done, I'll talk for a while, and then we'll have Liza bring a microphone around if you guys want to talk about your experience or share something, or maybe something came up that you're wondering about or whatever. And then at the very, very end, we'll do just a little short silent sit. So that's what we're doing. Let's go. So to begin with, I usually like to stretch a little bit, and we've been doing a particular stretching sequence over and over again. So let's do that basic thing. We start, and by the way, your body is different than my body, so do whatever you want. But I'm going to do this. Breathing in and up, and just holding it there with your ribs open, and actually taking a couple breaths while you're there, not holding your breath. And then leaning all the way over to one side, getting your side ribs way open, and the same thing, just breathe. And then up again, and the other way. Feel all that air coming in as you expand your ribs, and then coming up. Then my favorite, down in front. I like to go back and forth a little here to get both sides a little extra stretch. And then from there we do wrist circles combined with elbow circles. You can go both ways if you want. Combined with shoulder circles. So basically you look like a crazy chicken, and then can just do whatever. And then kind of spin your spine. This is the one we like to end on. Oh, before we do the spine spin, let's do the lion's pose, right? So everyone know how to do lion's pose? It's a great pose. Don't you feel good now? Let's do it again. There we go. Everyone's a lion. And then we'll spin our spine one way, spin the spine the other way, and then spin it whichever way you want. And then we'll do the thing. I've got a patent on this. You just spin it smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you can't tell if you're spinning or not. And then just leave it in that wonderful indeterminate place of being aware that your spine is actually never actually still. It's always moving a little bit, and that feels good. Okay? Just feel your body. It feels really good after just doing even that little bit of yoga, a little bit of stretching. Really changes the energy. Good. Now we're going to do just a little bit of seed syllable singing together. I want to do a longer mantra, but I realized I didn't write it on a board for you guys to read. And for me, I'm like, oh, just, but it's a mantra. So we'll just do some seed syllables, starting out with Om. And just, you'll see that most people here have been doing this for a while, so you'll see how it works. Let's go. Just kind of like remain open and just allow yourself to just float with the sound. Feel the energy of the sound. Let your mind just dissolve in the sound. These are going to be seed syllables of goddesses. So tremendously awake, fierce, powerful, loving goddesses. But beginning with Om. Everybody, these are not hard to do. Please join in. Next one is Hreem, spelled like H-R-E-E-M. Hreem. just invoked 4 different goddess energies. Again, both powerfully protective, but also creative, also generative, also steeped in tremendous wisdom. So just feel that energy in the room as we switch to doing a little bit of breath work. If you know how to do alternate nostril breathing, just go ahead and do that. If you don't, I'll show you how to do it. Make your hand like that, your right hand, middle fingers together. And then you're going to plug your right nostril with your right thumb, sitting up straight and even. Breathe in through the left nostril, then close the left nostril with these 2 middle fingers. Breathe out the right nostril. Breathe in the right nostril. Close the right nostril, breathe out the left. That's 1 round. Now just repeat that. Breathe in one side and out the other, essentially. This is getting bihemispheric stimulation of the nervous system. It's really good for regulation. We raised a lot of energy with our chanting, and this helps to smooth it out and regulate it and get you not only really awake and really focused, but also calm. If you want to make it a little more powerful, you can take one of those seed syllables and just repeat it while feeling it in your heart or your third eye. Now we started on a left nostril in-breath, so end on the left nostril out-breath, whenever you get around to that. And then just sit and see how you feel. Good. Now, as usual, let's just begin by resting as just open presence. There's no method for being open and present except to not be involved in thinking. So you just set the thinking aside. It can still happen, you're just not engaging with it. And then what's left is just simple, natural, open presence. Don't get in a fight with your thinking. Don't try to suppress it or control it. Just don't engage. For some people, it's like a bowl of potato chips. Like, don't touch that, but I have to touch it. I have to. It's like, it's okay. You'll learn to just not reach out and grab the chips. The bowl of chips gets to be there. You're just not engaging. And you're just coming back to resting as wide open, wide awake presence. Good. Now ask yourself a question here. Who is it that's having this experience? Really ask yourself that question. Who is it that's having this experience? And then don't pick up the thinking mind to answer it. If you pick up your thinking mind, it will say something like me or something like that, but that's not helpful. I want you to only answer the question in experience. So look in your own experience and find who or what is having this experience. So if your mind keeps trying to answer it, but it's me, I'm having the experience, just set that aside, and if that's the answer that keeps coming up mentally, then find this me. Find the me. And if it seems easy or obvious, you're still in thinking. Just keep looking. Where is the me? Can you find it? If you find a spot that feels like the me, let's say, oh, behind my eyes, investigate that spot. Look deeply into the spot. Can you find a me there, number one? And number two, who's looking at it? Presumably there are not two me's in there, one who's in that spot and one who's looking. And so seems like it's kind of hard to find this me, so let's actually do a search. Start out in your head. Can you find the me in your head? Like literally just feel around in your head. Can you find the me? Check your ears, check your nose, check your lips, check your cheeks, check your whole skull, check everywhere inside. Can you find it? And if you think you find it, then look at it carefully. And recognize that something's looking at it. So presumably that's not it. And then let's move from there. Presumably you can't find it, or if you did, you recognize that something's looking at it. So let's see if we can find the sense of self in our neck, our throat, or our shoulders. Really look, really feel your neck, your throat, your shoulders. You'll find body sensations, you'll find various emotions. Some of the emotions might feel really kind of like me, but if you try to pin it down, again, you'll find there's no me there. Doesn't mean there's nothing there. There's plenty of sensation. There's just no sense of self there. That can be pinned down. Now let's look in both arms and hands. Can you find a sense of self in either arm or either hand? Really look. Really feel through all the parts of your arms and hands and see if there's a sense of me there. Not my arms, but just me, the one having the experience. Still can't find it. What about your upper chest or upper back? So the upper part of your torso, especially in the heart. For lots of people that can have a lot of meanness. But just feel into it, feel into the heart. Certainly there's a lot of sensitivity there, a lot of beauty there, a lot of emotion there. But can you find who's having the experience, the one having the experience? Can you find it in the heart? And if you can, again, same thing, look carefully at it. Can you really find the experiencer there? Let's try the lower abdomen, the belly, and guts in the front and the back, the whole lower part of your abdomen. Can you find a sense of me-ness there? And if you do, really look at it carefully, or feel into it carefully. Is the one, is the me there? Can you find the me there? Well, no me there. So let's continue the search. In our legs and feet. Can you find the me in your legs and feet? Most people don't have a lot of me in their legs and feet, but you might as well look. Because you can't find it anywhere else. Down each leg, in each ankle, in each foot, in all the toes. Is there any me there? Now look again in the whole body. Who is the one having the experience? Can you find where they're located? Look, feel. So for most people, if you look carefully throughout the whole body, you may find spots that at first feel like me, but when you investigate them, they turn out to not have the me-ness there. Again, usually because you're looking at them from some other spot. And then if you look into that spot, it doesn't have a me there either. But you're not nothing, right? There's an experience happening, so presumably it's not just that there's nothing. So let's keep looking, but we're going to look in a different way. Bring up the sense of yourself, the me that you feel that you are. And then we'll call it your mind or your ego. Because you can certainly have an experience of it, right? We all have an experience of having an ego or an experience of having a mind. The thinking and feeling and all that. But now that you can tell it's not located anywhere in the body, see if you can find out anything about it, like, again, not as an imagination, not as an idea, not as a concept, but as a direct experience. What size is it? What size is your mind? Keep feeling into it. Keep looking, keep noticing. How big is your mind? Okay. What shape is it? Is it like a cube? Is it a circle? Is it what shape is your mind? Is your ego? What is the actual shape? Staying outside of thinking, you're just feeling into this, just perceiving into this. It's not something to get clever with mental activity. It's just something to notice. Good. Next question. What color is your mind? What color is it? Where is it located? Can you find where the mind, it comes from? Where is it located? You may be tempted to say, in my head, in my brain, but again, it's the same thing. Find it. Experience it there, not just as an idea. Okay, then now you can let go of the inquiry and just come back to just being naturally present, outside of thought, sitting in spacious, open ease. Again, not engaging with thought, but notice that sense of I'm sitting here doing this meditation is different now. Certainly an experience is happening, but exactly what the experience is happening to is unclear. Because whatever's experiencing right now is not an object. We tried to find it as an object. Objects have size and shape and color and location, and we can't find any of that. And yet there's still an experience happening. So it's not that there's nothing there, but there's no thing there. So in this simple open presence, let go of being a thing. It's just an idea that you've been holding on to. Instead, just be the open presence. Without any thingness. Simply wide awake, wide openness. The sense of breathing, sense of the breath coming and going. Totally unengaged with thought. If you're just sitting there thinking, just set the thoughts back down and just be simple, open presence. Notice how when we let go of the thingness of self, that openness and presence really increases. It's much easier to be present. It's much easier to be open. It's that sense of being a thing that closes us off. That shuts us down and disconnects us. When we drop the sense of being a thing, we're naturally present, we're wide awake, we're spontaneously open, no problem. Just be the openness, be the space, not any particular thing. Pretending to be a thing is bondage. And dropping the idea of being a thing is freedom. Feel the open, spacious ease of simple presence. Outside the thinking mind. And notice when you're not a thing, nothing else in the world is a thing either. When we make ourselves into things, we make other people into things, we make the world into things. But when we let go of our thingness and just sit in presence, being the presence, being the openness, being the experience, everything else is open and connected, not separate. There's a fluidity and ease to experience that is not possible when it's composed of things. So from this place of wide open, wide awakeness, not being anything at all, yet still having a rich, living experience, not separate from anyone or anything all around. Let's reanimate the seed syllable Hreem, just that single one, for a few minutes. Letting the just awake space generate that sound energy, and just feel it radiating out in all directions and receiving it also from all directions. Sitting silently as wide open, wide awakeness. clear, bright, alive, vibrant, and yet not anything at all. Okay, let's end that there. So you might be asking, like, what is all this about being a thing? Like, who cares? The fuck is wrong with that guy? It's a good question. But you know, there used to be it's not exactly a commercial, it was like a PSA on TV. This is like from the 70s or something when I was little, and it was, well, always said, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I always feel like making yourself into a thing is a terrible thing to do to yourself, right? A thing is a terrible thing to be. Right? A thing is a terrible thing to do to yourself. Why? Because it's really hard to become a thing. We have to take a boundless, timeless, centerless, radiant, shining consciousness and pack it into a cage of ideas, right? So we give it a certain name and a certain form and a certain history and a certain all these qualities, all of which are like basically properties in our mind, and then we pretend that we can force this awakeness, this awareness, this boundless presence into that cage. And then most of us just spend our whole life there, the rest of our lives, in that little box we just made. And in fact, then get afraid to get out of the box. Like, ooh, who am I if I'm not in the box? And it's very rare that anyone questions the box. It can happen accidentally, like in a big car wreck or something, like a shocking event. You'll question the box. Sometimes it can happen, if psychedelics tear you open in a certain way, you might question the box. Sometimes, like physical stuff with other people can cause you to question the box. But for the most part, we never question our own thingness. But if you look for 10 seconds and try to find who's having the experience, you can't find it. You can't find it. Did anyone find the experiencer? Raise your hand. Isn't that weird? Right? That you pretend there's someone in there experiencing. There's a little homunculus in there, a little guy, little being in there. It probably looks like a gnome or something, and is the one having all your experiences. But no matter how hard you try, you can't find that little guy because they're not there. But every time you're not actively looking, you pretend there is one there. You're always pretending there is one there. And again, there isn't, and you can prove it to yourself just by trying to find it, because you can't find it. And so, Manny's cracking up back there. Did you find one, Manny? No. No. Okay. Yeah. So, just look for 10 seconds, you can't find it, but then you go back like, so what? And you just go back to having your regular life. But who's having the life? Who's it happening to? Who's got all those thoughts? Who has all those ideas? Who has all those dreams and plans? Who has all those emotions? Who is that? You'd think it would either be obvious, or if it's not obvious, that would be maddening. But instead, everyone just kind of acts like it's no big deal. That you can't find yourself. But you can't find yourself not because you don't exist. That's just stupid. Of course you exist. You're having there's an experience, right? But it's not an experience that's happening to a thing. There's no object you can find called me. There's just experience. And when you stop making yourself into an object, which is a thing we are doing to ourselves all the time, it's a mental box you put yourself in. I call it the sock puppet. It's a little sock puppet that you grew in your teen years, and then you just stuck yourself inside it. Or at least you pretend you do. You don't really fit in there. It's too small. But, we rebuild that every day. We put ourselves into this little tight sock puppet of thoughts and concepts, and then just live there. But the thing is, living as a sock puppet, living as a thing is really, really, really unpleasant. Right? Even if life is good, it still doesn't feel good to be a thing, to be made into a thing, because we're so much bigger than that. And so is everyone else. Think about how you turn other people into things and what that is like. The kind of reductive, labeling, judgy, little sock puppet you make everybody else into. And you can watch your mind doing it, especially if you just meet someone. It will just start going, oh, they're like this, they're one of those, oh, they wear that, and you just make a little shitty sock puppet out of them, and then that's who they are. It's fair because you're doing it to yourself all the time too, but it doesn't mean it's a good thing to do, because they're not a sock puppet either. Right? They're not a thing at all. But as soon as you make yourself into a thing, you make everything else into a thing. And that's called dualism, right? That's things bashing against each other. And the minute you let go of being a thing, nothing else is a thing, there's non-dualism, right? We're not separate objects, separate things that are interacting. We do have our uniqueness, our separateness in one way, but in another way, there's no boundary. There's no actual boundary. And it's not that hard to see that. If you just get used to the activity of setting down the labeling, setting down the judging, setting down just all the thoughts about everything. Just put that aside for a minute, and instead of living in the world of thoughts, just be for a minute. You'll see. You'll see right away that all the separation, all the thingness is in the thinking, not in the being. And why does it matter? It matters because that being is joyous, that being is vibrantly awake and alive, that being is loving. It's just the way it is. Whereas the kind of dirty laundry bag filled with meta tags of your normal mind is just a horrible place to live. It's just a big bag of tags of everything, just judgment and assumptions and separation. It has its function, but it's not meant to be the place you live from. We're just doing that to ourselves over and over and over again. And it's not that hard to stop doing. You just watch yourself doing it and just set that aside. And maybe you have, it's like the potato chips, but it's a bowl and I just got to eat it. You'll get used to setting it aside after a while and letting yourself be instead of be a thing. So, a thing is a terrible thing to be. Right? We can simply be. It's not that hard. It's what's actually there. All the other stuff, all the concepts and boxes and labels and judgments and ideas and priors and all that we're slapping all over everything is a big whole bunch of extra stuff we're adding on and then pretending that's the real thing. It's nuts. And it's nuts because it makes you unhappy. The more you do it, the more you're unhappy. The less you do it, the better you feel. So let's see if that makes sense to anyone, or you want to talk about your meditation experience, or you have questions, or just things coming up that you want to share. Faisal will bring the microphone around. Raise your hand if you want to talk. Remember, we're streaming live to the interweb, and also, be kind and gentle in your speech. Everyone just had a nice meditation. Okay? So raise your hand if you'd like to say something. And don't be shy. What's your name?
I'm Sam.
Hi, Sam.
You're going on about not being a thing and all that really reminds me of a really fundamental question. Is there being? I mean, I can see doing. There's stuff happening. But when it stops, it stops. Is there really being? Or is there just doing?
Yeah, I would ask you a question back, which is, are you having an experience? In the sense of, are the lights on in the consciousness house?
Yes.
Yes, that's being.
I'm sure how that's different from doing.
Maybe we're just playing with words there, but the point is not being a thing, right? When we live from ideas, we're one step removed from existing, right? You know this.
I want to stop there, but I can't. Problem is that when I really poke at that, the ontic portion, the beingness portion of it,
Sure.
that goes away actually. That
Uh-huh.
stops being a meaningful thing. It's like an idea that I've gotten stuck on that's been built into my language that there's
Sure.
a thing and it's doing a thing. But what I end up experiencing is when I give up doing and there's only being when there is being. Give up the being, but there's doing when there's action.
Yes.
And then there's just openness when there isn't.
Right.
But openness isn't really being, is it?
Two things. One, I never said don't do anything. I said stop being a thing.
Yeah, understood. Got that? No,
Right. So you're making a
Right.
thing
right.
that.
This is the do be do.
Yes.
Do be do be.
Yes.
All right, it does work that way,
Yes.
but that's the problem with it. I was like, I can't get rid of the. When I really look at it, what I end up doing is getting rid of the category of being, and there is only doing. And that's what I'm poking at. I
Yes.
appreciate the not being a thing, not being trapped in a box.
Right.
All that. And that seems like the whatever is, the tatata, the suchness.
Mhm.
I can understand why they'd use that kind of language, because it's like, how can you talk about this thing? And yet it isn't a thing, it doesn't look like a being to me, it looks like whatever in action.
I would just say it's certainly continuously flowing forth, right? And so if we're going to call that,
Consciousness of the continuity of existence.
yeah, and it's radiant and it's this shining brocade of activity. It's never still, so we can call that doing.
Okay.
Yeah, especially
Trapped in the words.
yes. Angelina,
Hi, Michael.
hi.
I would agree that being a thing is a ridiculous, crazy thing to do.
I hear a butt coming.
Why? Like, why do we do it?
Why do we make ourselves into a thing?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
What the hell?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, there's the level of the question, and then it's actually a deeper question, like why are we incarnate at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's start at the other one, the higher level. Why do we make ourselves into a thing? And it's in the tradition, it would be because of the karma of millions of lifetimes. We've just made ourselves into a thing so many times that we just are in the habit of it. If we talk about it in a more, let's say, slightly materialist context or whatever, it's because of the millions of lifetimes of our ancestors, and so it's programmed into us, and so we just do that. It's a habit, is what it boils down to.
We
But
started the wave, and we have to like keep it going.
until we don't,
Come back around.
yeah, it's like it's just a hard habit to overcome because it's really ingrained, either through our own millions of lifetimes or the millions of lifetimes of all our ancestors, all the way back to amoebas or whatever. But the deeper question of why do it at all, didn't we talk about this last week? Of course, do I know the answer to that? I mean, I'm just some shithead up here. I mean, I don't know, right? Does anyone? But it's an important question, and I'll say the typical, what I think of as very helpful answer is that awakeness itself can't know itself unless it has reflection. right? It must, it can't, it's not just enough to just be awake, it has to see itself to come into being. And we are the mirrors of ourselves seeing ourselves. So in essence, we split off to look back.
So like a crazy funhouse mirror.
Or a beautiful mirror or whatever. But yeah, to put it, we're like the goddess looking at herself. And so spread out, take this separation, which is painful. The separation is really painful. But the purpose is to see the totality of the awakeness. And then when you're done with that, you return. So in one way of thinking of what is meditation and spirituality about, it's like, you're done being a mirror. Return. Right? So that's one version of why. Another version of why is because it's fun. Yeah. But again, do I know that that's the truth or something? No. But that thing about the reflection, that really does hold there's something there. The source can't see itself without breaking up into the 100,000 things and having those all reflect back.
Well, that seems pretty kind, actually.
It's an act of mercy of the source to itself, right? And it's even beautiful and kind of wondrous. So be an excellent mirror for the goddess.
Cool. Okay.
Thanks, Angelina. What else is going on out there in meditation land? Is it like freezing in here?
Yeah.
I know how to turn up the thermostat, but it's way over there.
So I'm interested in this openness and thingness in a very practical, everyday.
Okay. Sure.
So my teenager is becoming a thing.
That's the
Right.
job of a teenager.
Right, to self-differentiate.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if I'm in my open place, I'm being non-judgmental and I'm not reacting, right?
That not necessarily. I mean, it might be your job as a parent to have opinions and give feedback and even sometimes, punish or whatever. All that stuff's part of being a parent. So it's not like, oh, if you're open enough, you're just a blob of jello or something. Okay? It's not that it's passive at all. Like Sam and I were talking about, there's a lot of energy there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more for yourself, notice when you're becoming a thing and just stay open. Openness doesn't mean that you can't give feedback.
Because there's a very specific spaciousness that I feel here.
Yeah.
And I try to recreate that in my everyday, and I'm, more successful, less successful, depending on the situation.
Yeah, but you don't need to recreate it. The spaciousness is what you are. It's
Yeah,
always
recreate,
there.
yeah. So to be in touch with it is probably a
Yeah,
better way
just
of saying
recognize it.
Yes, so the more that I do it here, the more I can recognize that it's happening.
Yes,
And just
for
be
sure.
aware.
Yeah, and recognize that healthy adults have to create a sock puppet first to be, and then before you can see through it. It's just the weird thing about us, You don't want to. It's a problem if people see through all that too early, and never develop a sense of self. Because we use it to navigate the world. But again, it's a thing that we're supposed to use to navigate the world, not to actually think we are. on the deepest level, but most people think they are their mask. And it's like, no, you need a mask, that's okay, that's your, thing you use to interact with others. But don't believe they're their mask or that you're your mask. I mean, that's not real, it's just a function. Okay? You didn't even sit in the meditation.
I was out there on YouTube. Got it right. Yeah, this is my first time here, and I appreciate it.
What's your name?
I'm Zach.
Hi, Zach.
Looking for the me. Feels like there's a quasi thing there, and then when you kind of get close, it kind of goes away or is not there. But then there's also this other thing of like the observing of that thing.
Yeah.
I can't quite disentangle them.
Right, so, let's say there's a sensation, I'll just make a place up, behind your eyes, that's where I am. So investigate the sensation, and if you look closely, you'll see I'm investigating it from over here, so what's doing the investigation? That's what you're talking about, right?
Correct.
Okay, now look at that, because now that's the new place where it's coming from, but of course now you're looking at it from another place. And then that just goes around and round in an infinite regress, but your mind is not a machine, it's not stupid, so it won't infinitely regress. Eventually you just get it, it's not actually coming from anywhere. Because you can place it in any observer spot, it can be anywhere.
So that is the practice there is.
The practice is to keep finding what's having the experience, and then notice that if you try to pin it down, it's unpin downable. It's never actually anywhere. But then, and getting this, just me saying it and getting it as an idea doesn't do the trick. You have to do it over and over and over and over until in your bones you're like, it's not located anywhere. Or alternately, it's located everywhere. But either of those are different than being a thing.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, let's sit quietly without me yakking. Thank you for your questions and reports, and thanks for hauling the microphone around, Faisal. I really appreciate it. And she turned up the heat too. Can you feel it? Feels good. This will be about 45 minutes. much for coming this evening. Hope to see you again soon. A couple announcements that I'd like to say. One is, of course, this is the Olympic, and the Olympic is a nonprofit. We need donations to keep going and keep the heat on, which is now on, and the lights on, and the water flowing, and the cushions that you're using clean and on the floor and stuff. So if you, it's our goal that if you don't, you don't have any money, that you still can show up here and meditate. But for that to work, if you do have a bunch of money and you're just dying to get rid of it in some way, we really could use it to keep this place open. So there are QR codes and stuff on the website and all that. It's very easy to donate, but please, if you're feeling generous and are able to contribute, we could really use that. In other announcements, besides being here on Sunday for the workshop with Chandra, right? Me and Chandra doing the mantra workshop. I'd love to see you there. I just wanted to remind folks that I'm having an in-person retreat for 8 days at Mount Madonna, so Watsonville, California, June 7th to the 14th. So that sounds like 7 days, doesn't it? But count them out, that's 8 days. And I'd love to see you there if you're interested. So if you're interested, come to my website, deconstructingyourself.org. Okay, and just click through and sign up for basically 6 full days and then 2 half days of doing this kind of stuff. Okay? So hope to see you there. All right, thanks everybody. Feel free to hang out in the lobby, have some tea, talk to each other about doing, being, thinging, non-thinging, all that. Thanks everybody. Oh, to the retreat? You said you were going to go.
I'm gonna move my test.